many times. So you can have multi-stage. If you look at it from the top, and this is a chain drive, it's like this, right? So you got smaller sprocket here, bigger sprocket here, but the position is like this, not this. This, your bicycle is like this, right? But if it's like this, what happens to the chain? Gravity will tend to get it out from the sprocket. So you need to put guides. Okay, so support the chain from the bottom so it doesn't fall. So when it rides here, it rides on the platform. Lubrication. Now, if I cut the roller chain, you have multi-surfaces that you need to lubricate here. And actually, what you need to lubricate is inside. Okay, this is contrary to what most people think. Like, when you look at a chain like this, you tend to think this is the most important lubrication area. It's not. Okay? So the most important part to lubricate is not what you see, it's what you don't see. What you need to lubricate is actually here. So you got the pin, you got the bushing, and you got the roller. So you need to lubricate between the bushing and the pin, and between the roller and the bushing. So these both black areas, that's where you need to get the oil in. So this is why when you lubricate chain, you don't want to use an oil that is too thick. If you use an oil that is too thick, you don't get it in. If you use an oil that is too thin, then you don't have enough cushion. So you need to get the right, SAE means the lubricant viscosity. Okay? Higher number, higher viscosity, so thicker oil. If you operate at high temperature, then you use thicker oil because it'll thin out. But if you're operating like in room temperature, you can go with an SAE 30. You can coat it with a brush from time to time, or you can have it dripping constantly. We're talking industrial applications, right? I mean, in the bicycle, you just coat it from time to time. But in an industrial setting, sometimes you need to cover it, have a cover, and have an oil level always there. And so as it rotates, it just picks up the oil, and it's always lubricated. At other times, in very high duty operations, you need to spray it with oil with a pump all the time. And so it keeps the lubrication really get in there. Okay? Well, that's what I have to say about chain drives before we get to the calculation. You can get into the catalog. I touched that in the Google Classroom. If you read that catalog, there's a lot more you can study on that. So this is probably a good time for a break. And then when you come back, we'll do the calculation problem.
Okay.
Right? Take like 10 minutes.
Thank you.
Wait, supporting one time.
Thank you. Of course, why? Yes, man. What do you want? Me? With the friends. You?
Berapa kali? Dulu gue sih melewati dulu gue habis dulu gue
Itu apa sih? Kalian tapi ada itunya nggak? Insurance ya?
enggak
Beda lagi berarti.
itu nggak include segitu
Enggak, tapi mereka masih
Itu bang apa?
minimum juga.
Hah?
Finji.
Finji mbak berapa? Terakhir sebulan
Itu masih tadi
ini banget kalau serasa.
kalau udah sama asuransi bareng kan? Bareng kan? Kalian ini aja lockdownnya buletin 12 sebulan
pokoknya itu tuh kalau si Finji ini sama service-nya 12 bulan plus service dan lain-lain itu tuh 12.050 dari euro.
Iya.
Insurance-nya tambah lagi 150 bulan.
Kalau dia gua masukin tipsnya yang dari GitHub.
SGO kayak nggak sih insurance? Kalau yang langsung ada insurance-nya,
Terus
itu aja.
udah jadi dia masih bilang kayak tolong pakai input ini lo pin 13
Kalau misalnya lo
terus udah bikin tolong generate code-nya udah kan code independent terus baru lo masukin lo masukin dulu endpoint mereka sama pin tolong gabungin code-nya terus tambahin fungsi ini terus lo baca lagi code-nya fungsinya udah sesuai atau belum baru bisa pakai kalau dia belum sampai kasih
kalau
tolong
nggak student itu dapat kartu student itu bisa daftar buat insurance yang free
Jadi sebenarnya kayak
lebih mahal malah cuma di cover sih kalau misalkan lu tapi all cover ya yang tanya dulu deh soalnya kalau insurance yang swasta gue juga ada 40 tapi kalau yang negeri gue termasuk yang paling mahal di 100 to breed cuma rata-rata sekitar 100
130 masih lebih murah daripada ini.
itu sama
Alliance berapa?
aliens beda ih aliens sih
impor barang Jerman
paling murah barber sama TK
Ini
masa Alliance pakai
ini
jangan pakai apa paling mahal
Expatrio. Expatrio.
materi tuh kan
Sudah juga,
Bang.
iya. Tapi mereka lebih mahal. Buat jumlah sama itu tuh totalnya jadi 12.153 euro.
sudah 100 ya
Beda ya, beda 100. Terus tapi insurance mereka beda 5 euro lebih murah.
jadi mahal 12 nanti ya tapi harus dua itu ya harus dua itu
Mereka ngasihnya kalau nggak V3, Expatrio, Coracle. Si Coracle ini lagi under maintenance.
blok yang paling coklat bisa diambil per bulan maksimal atau coba kalian tanya lagi kadang ada kayak gue misalkan bulan ini lo ngambil 500 bulan depan lo bisa ngambil 500 tapi ada juga yang
karena sisa dari bulan sebelumnya
ada juga yang nggak bisa kayak gitu
ada yang pokoknya maksimal 900 terus di akhir itu bisa ditarik semua sisanya
kayaknya kalau lu nanti putus account-nya kayak bisa ditarik semua sisa
enggak kemarin tuh Dio
Yang tadi ini kalau baca kan flash sisa berapa duit gitu.
enggak
Bisa habis.
gue pernah minum
sebenarnya akun game atau gimana yang bisa gitu ya
Enggak sih.
tapi selama blok account udah otomatis lo nggak bisa minum karena kan udah dijaga maksimum Setelah itu bisa. Apalagi kalau dipakai kasih. Lalu gue belum kontak pertama doang. Minus sih. Bulan ini minus, bulan depannya minus. Minus kok minus 11 sampai minus 4 euro. Oh, gue pikir sampai ratusan. Nggak mungkin. Maaf ya. Nggak mungkin. Sekarang nggak mungkin minus. Plus mulu itu. Wow. Yang mana? The old one. The OG one. Oh, the OG one.
Gue ngambil itu apa sih? Speed
dari A.
Tiba nanti di bawah apa?
Atau kayak mereka bilang itu kalau ngomong out, nanti udah dapat
Terus ngambilnya di blog mana aja? Di ATM mana aja?
sebelum kebaca itu jangan dikasih.
Gue nggak pernah dengar soal Bang Fik gitu.
Ya sih, itu pasti scam.
Scam sih.
Jadi dia punya koneksi
Ya, kalau terus sisa nggak keluar gimana? Angus atau gimana? Oh, orang di sini dia datengin. Itu misalnya kita bayarin ke Lubek, Angus berarti. At least lo ke Palu pasti balik nggak sih?
Nggak kayak gini ya. Mereka kan bilang kan, oh timeline-nya begini. Berarti itu udah hitungan mereka dong. Mereka berarti dari mananya udah, oh oke bisa nih gitu kan.
WC-nya itu isinya
Terus lo baru sendiri, bisa.
Oh iya gue
Rapi ya dia. Parkas. Terus lokal
Itu banyak minyak.
Parkas itu lokal. Jadi harus.
Kayak kalau Indo ya,
On sale
levelnya di level
BRI squad.
BRI.
masih
BRI.
BRI ya, Jerman.
Karena dia bawa kalau di Parkas langsung. Dia
that was you before that.
kalau ini kan awalnya overall.
Oh, you mean I'm part of the competition?
What competition?
Wait. Submit a video of yourself with Minecraft Nice for squad bench and the you can just anyway without moving.
I'm not even in the WhatsApp.
Jadi kalau
I'm not even in the WhatsApp. It's a Iman's video.
Harusnya apa?
I'm not
Ada nggak yang bisa ngambil?
Hey, my GG is gonna be so low, man. Okay, Wonder Max.
who put it up?
Mending ditanya aja. Yes, aku tuh sama terus Parkasnya gitu.
Oh,
Nah, ini mau tanya atas dari 1 meter itu berapa? Atau enggak sampai jalan? Nah, gue sih punya 2 account emang. Satu bang satu
what
lagi
are
soalnya.
collectors? I'm gonna
Dewsbit?
Kalau Dewsbit mahal per bulannya. Cuma kalau
Yeah,
Dewsbit
members,
itu
members.
pakai Dewsbit, Kompas.
Tapi kalau Dewsbit lebih fleksibel aja kayak Bitcoin.
Yes, ada single knowledge.
That's exactly
Rasa pengurahan deh. Ada di Ya, jauh ada tiga muat, tiga muat.
Save my also
Bro, you're expired. It's expired.
Let's complete my PR. For Wonder Max. 18, 16,
Kita minum dulu aja ya.
Gimana sih?
Wow, what you think I do?
Nanti dari nomornya gue review sama dari nomor.
15 itu ini ya. Repot di sini. Tiket pesawat dari sini.
Plus,
Oh, udah.
my IG and my deadlift.
Pokoknya sebenarnya kita harusnya
Wow.
Tapi ada tiket pulang.
340. I think I can do 100 squats. Akan do.
Lu jangan main ngadi deh. Nggak mau pulang kalau
Bench.
Hey, do they count leg press?
No, definitely not. If leg press is gonna be inflated, man, inflated the thing.
berarti kalau misalnya kita udah punya Spartase nih, ya kan? Sampai Jerman kita buka lagi bang lain.
Si Piroting bisa kan?
Apa sebelum kita nyampe Jerman kita udah siap harus sampai sana dulu.
Soalnya kalau dari sini yang bisa diproses cuma itu doang. Si Piroting bisa. Si Piroting terus nggak tahu. Atau kok pakai bang kita aja bisa. Tapi itu gua
Nanti diambil aja.
si dia apa sih?
Pas dia pertandingannya sih dia bakalan capek banget nanti. Tapi she's not even ocean. Beta fish tuh kayak cupang.
Yes, you can use the same technique.
Lo Marina memang kasihan anjing. Nggak bukan sih dia lari maraton terus dia lari. Oh, udah di reject sekali. Gara-gara nama kual-kual jadi nama kual-kual gue tuh kalau di-speak di poster dilihatnya tuh banyak ada kayak lamar deh kayak gitu kan. Terus gue ya udah random aja tapi tuh keluar gitu. Ternyata salah harus yang lain lagi. Mereka tuh namanya sama tapi gelarnya beda-beda. Ada yang kepala, ada yang principal, ada yang apa gitu macam-macam.
Kepala sekolah dan prinsip.
Iya, bedanya cuma itu.
Kalau bahasa
Jauh banget.
Terus habis itu kan gue kan beda-beda kan. Ada yang nyebut
Kepala sekolah lawan das sekolah.
gue mesti bawa SMA Bintang Nusantara. Ternyata enggak, gue
Masih ada.
Dia masuk apa sih?
Tapi emang ini apa IG?
Tadi pagi gue apply, siangnya di
Alright, let's get started. Oh, before I forgot. So, you did years quiz? Yes.
Last week.
Okay. So next up then is belt and chain.
Yes.
So I'll probably do that next Tuesday. Belts and chain.
So fast.
Or you want to do it on Friday? This Friday.
Oh.
What's the alternative? Like next year?
This Tuesday ya dia ya.
This?
Enggak.
The upcoming Tuesday.
Ada this Tuesday.
Yes. Okay. Let's do it on Tuesday. Okay. All right. Now let's talk about. Go ahead and open this PDF on your or the slides on your laptop so it's bigger. And notice that there is a dot here. Okay. So this is a 0.1, guys. So this is a 0.1. It might not be visible. Okay, this is 1.0. So open this up so you know what I'm talking about. Okay, this is also 0 point. Very faint. And so this is 1.0. So we'll be using this chart as a horsepower selection for the chain. Okay, it's not an absolute, but again, just like belts, it's a guide. All right, so this is the procedures. Let's just do the problem. This is surface factor where you select the application factor, like how bad it is. Okay, let's just do this example. A conveyor is 50 horsepower is driven by a 100 RPM electric motor, uniform load. Select the chain and sprocket. So first we look up the surface factor, and then we select the chain family, and then we go into the teeth lookup. Okay? So the surface factor is looked up on this table. It's an electric drive motor driving a conveyor but with uniform loading. So you look at the keywords on this table, and that's a 1.0. Okay, so surface factor equals 1.0. In other words, we don't need to make it worse. Right? It's a uniform loading, so it's relatively light. You see, as you go here, this is a smooth load, this is a moderate shock, and a heavy shock loading. With heavier shocks, then you see it's 1.3 and 1.5. Similarly, the time of input power also gives you the amount of shock, right? The internal combustion engine with hydraulic drive, meaning it's a hydraulic drive. It's not, ignore the engine, right? Because it's a hydraulic drive. It's actually very smooth. It's even smoother than an electric drive motor because it's fluid, right? The fluid itself has some damping. So this is hydraulic drive, this is electric drive, and this is a mechanical drive with internal combustion engine. So you see, it also gets worse as you go from left to right, left to right, left to right, top to bottom. So this is kind of examples that represent a heavy shock, like hammer mills, machine tools, punch presses, etc. Okay? So, surface factor is 1 for electric drive motor and conveyor. And then we go to this. Remember the problem asked us for 50 horsepower, 100 RPM. Yes. Electric. This is RPM. Okay? 100 RPM and 50 horsepower. Now, you see the multiple columns? The rightmost column is a single strand. Okay, this is a single strand, 2 strand, 3 strand, and 4 strand. It's the number of chain joined together. So this is a double chain. Think of it like that one, right? A double chain, triple chain, a quad chain. This is a single chain, and we'll look up this column. This is 50. Okay, this is 0.1, 0.2, 0.1, 2, 10, 50. You see, this is exponential logarithmic axis. This is also logarithmic. 100 RPM, 50, and so we select number 160 chain. Okay? So these are the zones. Notice that, just kind of a trivia, for the same horsepower, notice that for 100 RPM, you actually go down in size. 50 size, right? And then if I go faster, I actually go down in size because I need it lighter, right? Faster, you know, thin, skinny people tend to run faster, just a kind of general physics principle. And so as you go even faster, you go down in size, right? Okay? Now, this is called the horsepower chart, horsepower table. Okay? This is the RPM. Okay? This is RPM. This is the number of teeth for the small sprocket. Okay? This table is specific to the chain pitch. Look at the title, 160. Okay? We selected 160. And so you select the right table. This is the size of the this is the size of the chain. What you look at in terms of horsepower is this table. So let's zoom in a bit more here. Okay? 100 RPM on the top. And you find the number of the horsepower inside the cells. And so we need 50 horsepower, right? At least. So for 100 RPM, there. Obviously, this also qualifies. Again, with design problems, there is no one single answer. So you have 50 horsepower fulfilled by a minimum of 19 number of teeth. And this is always the small sprocket. Therefore, we can say the minimum number of teeth equals 19. Again, this is for the small sprocket. So, in many situations, you want it compact, right? I mean, why make it bigger than it needs to be, unless you need some safety margins. But a 20 teeth sprocket will be bigger than a 19 teeth sprocket. So if you are instructed to design the most compact, the cheapest chain drive, then you would select the minimum. This is the minimum. Okay, does that make sense? So this is kind of a simplest way to design the chain drive. We haven't talked about ratios and all that. This just kind of teach you how to look up the table. Any questions so far? Okay, so first you look this up. Just use the single strand if you are interested in single strand. In the next exercise, we're going to do multiple strand. Okay? So look that up. 100 RPM, 50 horsepower, 160, and then you go to the 160 table. This is a table you want. Okay? By the way, these are the type of lubrication that is needed. If you fall in this area, it's manual lubrication is fine. Faster RPM need like a bath lubrication. Type 3 here, very high RPM, needs an oil stream, so you spray the oil. But nevertheless, in terms of horsepower, these are the horsepower values. So you 150, that's the minimum. Bigger than that will have bigger capacity. Okay? So let's go to the second example. This will be a bit more complex. I encourage you to write this down, guys. I mean, it's just more engaging if you take a piece of paper and write things down. Because looking at it, you thought, yeah, I understand. And then the quiz comes and, yeah. So, number of revolutions for a drive is 500. And you are transmitting 10 horsepower. So if we kind of draw just kind of a visual, right? This is the motor side because we are reducing the RPM to 125. Okay? So we have 500 RPM. We are reducing to the load is at 125 RPM. The center to center distance is 11 inches. Okay, it's an American catalog, by the way, so imperial units. Space limitation. So this is, I think we gotta tell them to go quiet a bit.
Ntar hari Selasa lagi kan? Tiap Selasa.
Now, the space limitation will then kind of represent this space, right? It's going to occupy including the sprockets. So the space needs to be less than or equal to 19 inches. The load is a grinding machine. So we have electric motor. Notice the keywords. Electric motor, grinding machine. Select the chain and sprocket. Okay? Okay, we're good? Good. Okay. Now, surface factor. We have an electric drive motor. So we are on this column. Grinding machine, moderate shock, 1.3. So then the design horsepower needed is actually 10 multiplied is 10 horsepower, right? 10 multiplied by 1.3, so we actually need 13 horsepower because of the multiplication. Then we go to this chart. Again, horizontal axis is RPM, 500 RPM. So we pick the high one. Don't mistakenly pick this one. Always focus on the small sprocket. 500 horsepower, single strand. We need 13 horsepower, not 10. 13 horsepower. So we land on this side, 60. Okay, so select number 60 size. If you land on the borderline, then you can pick which one. So we go to this table. So you gotta select the right table, 60 size, and zoom in. We have 500 horsepower. 500 RPM. Okay, go down until you find the horsepower that you need. That is your minimum number of feet for the small sprocket. Okay, so minimum number of teeth would be 18. Again, this is the small sprocket. Now, to find the space that we actually occupy, then we not only look at the small sprocket, but the big sprocket also. So therefore, I need to now go into the sizes of the sprocket. The size of the sprocket can be looked up in this chart. This is a separate table. If you go to the catalog, again, you have many tables. But you have to make sure that this is for the 60, because the sprocket is different for each chain size. Number of teeth, 18, then this is your OD. This is the pitch diameter, this is your outer diameter. Because the chain is like that, right? So, this is the pitch diameter, but because I'm interested in the space occupied, then I need to at least go out to that point, right? And that is the outer diameter. So now we have, for an 18, my ratio is, so large sprocket will be 500 divided by 125, the ratio, which is a 4 basically, times 18, I need a 72 teeth. Okay? So I have 18 and 72. 18 and 72. I need to look up the space needed. So the space needed will be 4.704, and at 72 teeth, this is the OD, divided by 2, plus 17.628 divided by 2, plus the center to center distance. So we land at 22.16 inch. Are we good? Are we good with that?
Divided by 2 because there is 2.
Ah, that's the diameter.
Okay.
That's the OD, right? Outer diameter. So this is the so this is 17.628 divided by 2.
Oh, it's a radius.
Because I have the center to center, right? 11. And so this is 4.704 divided by 2.
Oh.
So the space I need with this configuration is 22 inch. But my requirement is 19. So, what do we do? If I go to a higher number of teeth, I only end up bigger. If I go lower, then I do not fulfill my horsepower requirement. What can I do? We go to a multi-strand chain. Okay? So we double up the chain, just like belts, we double or triple the belt. However, you need to be careful because belts, chains are unlike belts, you do not just multiply. If I go with a double strand chain, then my multiplication is 1.7. In other words, I do not get twice the horsepower. I only get 1.7 times the horsepower. Or, if it's a triple strand, it's also only 2.5 times. It's not 3 times. So this is the strand factor that we're going to use. Okay? So the next trial then, just like the bushing style problems, you need to iterate. And that happens a lot actually in real life, in real world engineering. So now we're going to try a 2-strand. Now, there are 2 ways of approaching this. We can try to find the design horsepower per strand, okay, which is basically 13 divided by 1.7. So per strand, we only need 7.6 horsepower per strand if we do a double strand. And what we end up selecting, if we need only this much, right? This is 8, so it's about 7 here, right? 500 RPM, and so we end up with a 50 chain. So in this situation, we select number 50 instead of number 60, so it's smaller. The sprocket will be smaller also. So with this, then we go to a 50 table, and we still land at a 500 horsepower, 500 RPM, 7.6. So we land at 18. So minimum teeth is still 18 teeth, and so the combination for the large will be 72 teeth, same ratio, right? But the diameter is different, look at that, okay? This is a 50 size. So now the space I need will be 3.92 divided by 2, and the 72 teeth is 14.69 divided by 2 plus 11 inch, 20.3. No? Let's write 3 strand. Okay? Now you're getting used to this. The design horsepower per strand will be 13 divided by 2.5, which will be 5.2 per strand. Okay? Now, here, we're kind of at the borderline. 5 point something, 5.2. Yeah, it's right there. What do we want to do? Well, let's try this is still a 50. Okay? This is still a 50. We can go with a 40 if we want. Okay? But select the 51. We know that we're going to get better because the minimum number of teeth is only 13. Because my requirement is only 5.2 per strand. 500 RPM, boom. So we only need 13 teeth. And so for the large, we have 500 divided by 125, which is a 4:1 ratio, times 13 will be a 52 teeth. So 13, 52, the space that we need, drum roll, 2.911 divided by 2, 10.77 divided by 2 plus 11, boom. Okay? We're good. Now, if you want to use the family chart, the product family chart differently, okay, this is a double strand and a triple strand and a 4 strand. You see what you can do, what you could have done is go to a triple strand. I know I needed 13. This is my original horsepower, right? So just look up 13 on the triple strand. And basically, it's the same thing. Get it? Yeah? A double strand, 13 will be here, which is where we were, right? So you can also look at these columns. However, don't be confused. When you go to the table, when you go to these tables, you still need the individual strand. Because that number is assuming an individual strand. So that's why I didn't do those extra columns. I still divide, and because I need this number. I need this number to select my minimum number of teeth. Okay, so final design is 13 teeth, 52 teeth, a 50 chin.
So is the space not like part of the answer, sir? It asks us for the requirement.
This is the requirement. Is it needs to occupy the space of 19 inch, less than 19. So we have to go multiple strand and a smaller chain.
Yeah, like it's sprockets, the chain.
And the sprocket size follows the chain size. Okay, so every time you look up this sprocket size, make sure you're on the right size there. This is, I crop it, but this actually comes from the same table if you look at the PDF. Not too bad, right? I mean, industrial catalogs are like this, yeah.
So to answer this, we need to like try one by one.
Pretty much.
Output.
Yeah.
Make it 3 hours.
No, I mean, come on, look at that. It's just looking up tables. Just make sure you look up the right table.
Sir,
Yes.
for the next quiz, you still give us the...
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I'll give you the tables.
Don't forget the
I'll
formulas.
give you quite a few tables actually, so you can select for yourself. Well, that's all I have for chain. I'll just dismiss the class early because that 1 hour will be used for the quiz next Tuesday. So that's
So 3 hours, please.
just 1 hour, right?
1 hour?
Not enough, not enough.
Try and error, sir.
3 hours. One question, 1 hour.
No, just look at the table. If the table has 50 on it,
So you're gonna do belts and chain next time.
Belts.
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 How many books?
I think total of 4 cases.
Sir,
So...
how about the post test?
Oh yeah, let's do the quiz test.
Yeah, okay.
Any questions? I am gonna
In total.
Sir.
just follow the same link as the pre-test. Go ahead and do
Tanya aja.
the
Is there four is already with the finals or
without the final.
Oh, itu sense.
And then we'll have the final.
Final berarti 8 soal.
The finals later on will still provide like tables and everything.
Yeah, final will be similar to the quizzes. Go ahead and do the poster. For the final, I usually pick the problem that you score the lowest.
Oh, not the highest?
The highest. That means you need to study more, right?
Usually competitions are in the finals.
I'll give you multiple choices like the post test, the final, plus 2 calculation quiz. 2 calculation problems.
Will that be like the chart or we can do the, what you call cheat sheet?
No, I'll provide you everything. Yeah. It's a closed book.
Iya, kayak gitu. Dia bilang buat belajar. Paling kan diganti sih soalnya. Oh, di 2 hari. 20 ribu. Yang kedua kan? Ini juga minta tes. Iya.
My sister win, I can sit with you. Jadi apa? Let's go. Let's go.
Get sick.
Yes, we have the same thing, right? Same organs, right? Yeah.
I'm gonna eat spicy noodles.
You
got your one now.
Free lunch. Hey, it's not free, it's free, right?
20K.
How much is the portion? Is it big?
No, I don't think so.
So it's like free food, yeah.
No, not free. 20K.
It's like bulldog.
Yeah, 20K for.
Most likely it's gonna be bulldog.
Yeah,
20K you got two gachoan.
Gachoan?
Yeah.
Oh, this is gachoan.
No.
No, I think it's bulldog. Most likely bulldog.
That's the best thing you can get.
Best thing you can get. So Gachon is like makes more sense for the challenge fight.
Yeah, but no, I don't think they're gonna go the gachoan. Most likely they're gonna be cooking. The lowest one is like mie burung dara, lo tau? Terus sambal dari mereka. The spiciest one's bulldog, right? The spiciest one is south, like with technology. They can make this chili sauce. Ya, the geltune sih lah. Itu yang cannot
Weak. Oh, in zero joy, it's gonna win, man.
No, the thing is, it's not about eating completely, it's eating the lobsters.
Yeah, it's what you
You just like chug it in.
Okay, you know what?
Basically, you're looking for
Let's take.
It is like he has a spice tolerance. He just needs to eat fast. That's it. Look,
Bro, me and my son,
imagine
spice tolerance like
Ian's spice tolerance with Adele's eating.
gacoan, dua suap, black hole. Lu latihan gitu. Jujur gampang.
Alright, let's take our finish.
Jujur speednya oke gue. Speed apa spice tolerance enggak. Lu sebalik. I wanna try one bulldog. Let's see if I can do it. You know black people cannot spicy things.
Yeah.
Cannot eat spice.
So black people have higher spice tolerance. Yeah.
You're not black though.
See, finally.
Hey, Indian has highest spice than Indian. You mean?
You should be able to do it.
No, I cannot.
Let's go spicy noodles.
Oh, what are you ordering?
Let's go bulldog today.
We just need
We train.
Huh?
We train.
With what?
Can you eat a bulldog?
Bulldog, I know.
The spicy
It's
one.
the Korean one,
Yeah,
right?
did you eat it?
The spicy one. Samyang is spicy.
Hey, what is samyang?
Kayaknya sampai sama bulldog.
Bulldog is the cheese one, no?
Bulldog is
No,
Korean.
jenisnya bulldog.
Samyang and bulldog is the same.
Samyang merek, bulldog jenis.
Kenapa bisa kayak gitu?
Hey Jim.
No.
Hey Jim.
Dan berhasil.
Just day.
Caranya
Eight kg, 2 traps.
Good chest.
I didn't do it. That's like last week.
You can order what? You can order aqua, right? But you need the pump to actually
Yeah,
get
for
the
the
pump.
I think we have that. We just need to buy. It's cheap lah. Under 100K.
Lu nonton, terus sisanya lu minta di live stream.
Oh, already skilled.
Apa? Gimana Del? Kurang kenceng Del.
Oh, you saw, right?
Unit kamu udah?
Yeah, I saw it, right?
Cuma tergantung tuh nih.
No, you saw it.
Lu lupa kemarin lu nanya.
I forgot.
No, it's your unit. You don't pay that much attention. No, I don't remember every single detail because it's not my unit. I don't think
Masa cuma
Kamu water pump, udah tahu water pump. Oh, you don't care about us.
Silakan.
Alright, see ya.
Thank you, Mike.